Hello, my friends. It is day 229, and we're reading Jeremiah chapter 35 through Jeremiah chapter 37. But before we get into our recap today, I want to thank you for taking a moment to check out this video. Hopefully, you're finding the yearly Bible reading program helpful and a blessing to you as you read through the Bible every single day. If you have not yet accepted the invitation, please check out the description box below, and there you'll find a link that will take you directly to the YouVersion Bible app, where you can join a number of people reading the Bible every single day and leaving feedback on the things they're learning. We'd love for you to be a part of the community, and we believe that you will be just as blessed as we are from the interaction and from your participation. So today we're back in the book of Jeremiah. We have a long haul through the book of Jeremiah. Now, this is a pretty long and extensive book, and it has been a great enjoyment for me reading through the courageous and powerful and dynamic ministry of Jeremiah. I think he may be my favorite prophet, definitely top two in the Old Testament. But I hope you're getting a lot out of this. We continue seeing how he is addressing the sins of Israel, or particularly Judah, as we think through this. And there is an interesting thing that happens in chapter 35, where the Rechabites are invited by Jeremiah to partake in wine, and as they are given the invitation to participate in this sort of a fellowship, if you will, with Jeremiah, the thing that's interesting here is they refuse to drink the wine, and it's basically because they were given instructions from their forefathers to not participate in the drinking of wine. It was a way of kind of just separating themselves. In fact, in chapter 35, verse 14, Jehonadab told them not to drink this wine or be partakers in wine, and they, out of obedience to him, decided that they were not going to do that. And the entire point of this discourse is to demonstrate their commitment to their forefathers and their ancestors' way of living. It's to demonstrate obedience, value of tradition, if you will, understanding even of a tradition. This is not just blind ritual obedience. This is a conviction. This is a way of life for a family. This is the way of distinguishing themselves as a group of people, and more so as a family as well. And so they're doing this, and it is a lesson. It's a message, a way of conveying a message to Jeremiah that he can convey to Judah, how they are the example of what God looks for in the tribes of Judah, and how they have not been that, and they have not done things that the Lord has asked them to do. And so they are in many ways condemned by this example, and it encourages the reader to be a Rechabite, if you will, to, again, not just look back and say, well, my mom did it this way, my dad did it this way, but to actually seek the way that was given to them, understand it, embody it, and live it. I think that there's some value to this in today's world, because in today's world, we kind of have this individual autonomy that is really unparalleled in ancient times. In the ancient world, a person would do by nature what their family did, right? So if you were a seamstress, your family was seamstress, then you would be a seamstress. If you were a carpenter, your family would typically be carpenters. If you're brick masons, you just typically, become a brick mason. But we live in a time today where people feel they have the right to choose, and this is not a bad thing. It's just the way it is. They have a right to choose what path in life they will travel. And what that often does is it causes a person to forsake the important and the valuable things that distinguishes you, not only as a human being, but as a person who is a part of a family who has a tradition of following God. And I think what is most important about just doing all of this is not just giving along the tradition, but handing off the value of knowing God and following him with all your heart as a means of living in that tradition, right? It's not so much the doing, it is the why, it is the who, it is the what, right? So That's a great lesson. It was really, really good. Now, in chapter 36, we continue to see the hostility against Jeremiah and the message that he brings. And there are a lot of things going on here. Obviously, Jehoiakim and a number of the attendants, Baruch in particular, are all hostile against this message, and they just decide to burn the scroll. You know, they take the Bible, they don't like what's in it, and they just start taking it, tearing it out, and throwing it in the fire until there's nothing left. And you would assume by doing that, that dismisses everything that you've heard from it. But so glad to know that the word of God is alive, is quick, sharper than any two-edged sword. That it's just not words off of a page that we're reading, but this is the living word of God that is active in the lives of all people, whether you trust it, obey it, or live it, or believe in it. This word is active. It's going to do exactly what it says should be done, because it's not just words written on paper. It's the word of God inspired by the Spirit of God. So Jeremiah ultimately rewrites the scroll, and then he begins to continue in the ministry that God has appointed him. Now, Zedekiah is one who seems to understand at least a little bit that there's something unique about Jeremiah, in which he is led to call for him to hear a word, if you will. And at this point, Jeremiah, who is going through immense persecution, he petitions Zedekiah to grant him the permission to stay in a less restricted or less oppressive prison, if you will. So he's granted that much. But the troubles and the woes of Jeremiah are not over. There's so much more that's going to happen, so much more that's going to befall him as he continues to live in this ministry, or live out this ministry. And it just goes to show the courage, yes, but the typical life of a prophet in this time. And I think we should pay special attention to that, and always value the voices that God sends our way to try to shake us up enough to get back in line where we need to be. I think we should value that. Many people will not do it, but for those of us who are the remnant, we should take very careful attention to those individuals who God, those voices in the wilderness, if you will, crying out, prepare the way of the Lord. So let's keep reading. There's so much more to go, and I look forward to hearing your interaction. Please put it in the comment box below or on the YouVersion app, and we'll be blessed by your participation. Until next time, thank you for watching. Take care. God bless. And remember, live by the word.